moving ahead to Ms. Parul Katuria, who is a clinical psychologist and working in Gurgaon currently. I would want to understand the common clinical disorders that are reported in the clinics these days, how the pandemic has affected the number of people seeking help or showing these symptoms of different disorders. And what do you see as a clinician is the impact of delayed treatment in such cases? Over to you, Parul.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning to all of you. I think I will straight away answer your first question regarding the clinical disorders. I think first, very important for all of us to know that we categorize any condition or a series or some cluster of symptoms into a disorder when we say that it is very distressing, it is deviant, it is leading to some kind of dysfunction, and it is dangerous to oneself or the other. So I think that is very important for all of us to understand and put oneself or put a series of or a cluster of behavior into one clinical condition. So yeah, these days, as you asked, what sort of disorders are very much often that we can see them in the clinics and the hospitals. I think anxiety is very common these days. Depression is very common. And then since I'm working with children majorly these days, I can see a lot of cases of autism coming up, SLD coming up, though there is a lot of clarity that is required when we talk about specific learning disability, because sometimes poor scholastic performance or the child not performing or the child not able to comprehend the information. I think there is a lot we need to understand over these things, but uh, I think specific learning disability is one area which still needs a lot of clarity and recognition, because a lot of children goes undiagnosed and unidentified because there isn't much clarity over it. People keep on thinking that the child is just not performing well. The child probably because he has some family issues because of which he's not performing. But I think we need to understand that there is something called a specific learning disability also that needs to be identified. So yes, SLD cases are very much coming, but I would like to see more of such cases being reported, identified, and taken help for. Besides that, I think ADHD is also very common. This condition is also very common, and we can see a lot of patients coming for this condition. All in all, these are the major clinical disorders that we get to see in the clinics. OCDs, yes, has OCD cases have tremendously increased, because also thereby answering your second question, how COVID has affected. So yes, COVID does have affected a lot of people and led to many clinical manifestations, and we see that OCD has tremendously increased because the anxiety have really triggered and spiked up, and people are getting too much conscious if they are having COVID or not. Because I remember this case, in fact, a couple of cases around their health that has come that probably if they do not wash their hands properly, and they're washing their hands again and again, because there is a thought that if probably they would not wash their hands again and again, then they might contaminate and they might contract this disorder, contract this COVID. And also that the people who are already suffering from OCD, their anxiety have triggered due to the effect of COVID. So yeah, OCD is one condition that we can see very much coming up. Besides that, I think let's not just talk about clinical disorders in particular, but there are also some behaviors that have really spiked up, such as restlessness and fidgetiness or irritation, uh, mood disturbances, mood swings, aggression have increased. So all these things, I mean, it would not be right to put them into a clinical category at that early stage. But yes, this sort of behavior, this sort of complaints, we do get to hear that, the child is having, or probably the adult for that matter, is getting too restless, is getting too moody, is agitated, not able to concentrate, boredom is there, so fidgetiness and irritates for no reason. So all these complaints do come up. But I think I would use this platform to spread awareness and educate everyone out here that it would not be right to just put somebody into the clinical category and say that, okay, you are having this condition and you should go to a psychologist or any mental health practitioner for that matter. But if anything is concerning or anything is bothering you too much, giving you too much distress, interfering in your work, then I think it is the right time to uh, approach a mental health practitioner and get your queries, get your doubts, and seek help if in whatever way it is required to you. Yeah, that is very much important. Now, coming to your next question about the delayed treatment. um, Delayed treatment, yes, it is there, and it sometimes really creates a problem, because it is always said the earlier the better, but what happens is that the people keep on neglecting, overlooking, ignoring, or keep suffering for that matter, because sometimes they feel that it is their fate, it is there in their family, mother had it, grandmother had it, it is okay to have it, so it is running in my family, so it's like a fate. uh, I have to live with it. So some people take it like that. Some people feel that no, I will tolerate it, I'll suffer it, no worries. This is what resilience is about. No, this is not what resilience is about. Resilience is about bouncing back and coping with those problems, but not suffering, in silence, or probably suffering because of those that particular condition that you have. So it is always advisable to seek help. Help is every time available now, thanks to the pandemic for that matter. Lot of mental health services are available online, and with just few clicks, you can reach out to a mental health practitioner and seek therapy, seek sessions, seek consultation, get your doubts clarified. Sometimes people are very doubtful whether they do have some problem or not, or it is just too normal, because they do not really know what is happening with them. They are too perplexed about it, and there is not much information regarding that particular sort of difficulties and the challenges that they are having. So a quick consultation can help you get your queries, get your doubts solved. And if at all you require some kind of therapy, some counseling session, some psychoeducation, then you must take it. I think this is one thing that I would like everyone to propagate, and this is the way you should be creating awareness about the mental health and everything. And I think one more thing which is very important is that, yes, we do talk about mental health disorders and stigma and everything, but yes, it is very important that we sensitize the people around, because yes, you would give power to people who are actually dealing with this condition, who are having this condition. But it is very important that, okay, fine, you have taught the person the coping methods, the resilience and everything. But at one point of time, we also need to understand that we need to sensitize, because okay, the person would come to us for 1 hour, maybe in a week, or probably 2 hours in a week, depending on the frequency of the sessions. But uh, at the end of the day, he has to go back to his family, he has to go back to the environment, he has to go back to that classroom. So it is very important that we kind of create awareness, we also educate, we sensitize the people, the environment in which the person is going to go back. So yeah, that is very very important, and we should collectively work together, and schools, clinics, doctors, everybody, I mean the policy makers, we should have something on those lines, so that we can create a healthy environment for all of us, to better ourselves and to better our mental health. Thank you.